Welcome back to Never Famous. Please hit the like, drop a comment, and subscribe so you can join the famous family. Hit the bell so you can get a notification for all our new content dropping basically every day. We outside.
Now, moving on. So today, I'm gonna start. I didn't want to talk about this, but I think we have to because everybody's talking about it. Russell Brand. Have you guys heard what's going on at all?
What's going on with Russell?
I vaguely heard it, then heard a little bit about it.
But yeah, so he put out this video. So some shit happened, and apparently he found out ahead of time. So he put out this video before everything dropped. So this is him getting ahead of it.
Mm.
Hello there, you Awakening Wonders. Now, this isn't the usual type of video we make on this channel where we critique, attack, and undermine the news in all its corruption, because in this story, I am the news. I've received two extremely disturbing letters, or a letter and an email, one from a mainstream media TV company, one from a newspaper, listing a litany of extremely egregious and aggressive attacks, as well as some pretty stupid stuff, like my community festival should be stopped, that I shouldn't be able to attack mainstream media narratives on this channel. But amidst this litany of astonishing, rather baroque attacks are some very serious allegations that I absolutely refute. These allegations pertain to the time when I was working in the mainstream, when I was in the newspapers all the time, when I was in the movies, and as I've written about extensively in my books, I was very, very promiscuous. Now, during that time of promiscuity, the relationships I had were absolutely always consensual. I was always transparent about that then, almost too transparent. And I'm being transparent about it now as well. And to see that transparency metastasized into something criminal that I absolutely deny makes me question, is there another agenda at play? Particularly when we've seen coordinated media attacks before, like with Joe Rogan when he dared to take a medicine that the mainstream media didn't approve of.
Any thoughts so far?
I like how he's trying to compare other instances. It's like it low-key gives me like guilty vibes, but that's just me jumping ahead a little bit. But we got to be careful with these kinds of things, because when it's like media attacks, it can be very, you know what I'm saying? Like,
That's
you
what I
never
was gonna
know
say.
what,
I
you don't want to
understand.
trust everything that you hear.
I understand why he would reference Joe, but I think it's completely different. Like I don't agree with you. Like I think it's two completely separate things. Like I would like because what Joe and what like he said it's a medicine shit that was going on the whole COVID shit.
Hmm.
He's getting accused of some other stuff.
Right. That's what
Like
I'm
it's
saying.
like
Like two big,
some real egregious
completely,
shit. As
completely
opposed,
different.
yeah.
That's what I'm saying. Like because of that, it's giving me a little bit like guilty vibes. Maybe, but
That's my only thought.
I'm not completely like full on that side though, like of him being guilty.
I'm here him out.
That the mainstream media didn't approve of. And we saw a spate of headlines from media outlets across the world using the same language. I'm aware that you guys have been saying in the comments for a while, watch out, Russell, they're coming for you, you're getting too close to the truth. Russell Brand did not kill himself. I know that a year ago there was a spate of articles, Russell Brand's a conspiracy theorist, Russell Brand's right wing. I'm aware of news media making phone calls, sending letters to people I know for ages and ages. It's been clear to me, or at least it feels to me, like there's a serious and concerted agenda to control these.
Also, like, do you guys think that just kind of like based off what he's saying, are people using like a boy cried wolf kind of thing, like I used to how people keep using like the narrative of like, oh, like because you see how he's saying all the things like almost like because they keep saying I'm right wing, and then all like all the shit of the same group of people that keep getting attacked by the media happen to be right wing and go against like the main
I don't even think it's right
shit.
wing anymore, because I think you have people that have not necessarily said the right wing that are also getting attacked by the media. I think it's more like people who are against the machine,
left.
like they're just
But the machine is the left.
Sort of now, because they're the ones in power.
Like the hardcore like
right now, sort of. But I don't necessarily mean you have to be ultra right to be, because I don't consider him to be conservative at all. Like he may have some like mini conservative values here and there, but like I don't think he's a conservative person.
Yeah, I don't know. I don't know anything about him. It's just a question of like I just kind of noticed where like, for example, where like Trump, I would have used more Trump. I mean, but Trump is a bigger thing, but like kind of more as a reference where they're being like attacked kind of the same way, and it's kind of how do I say what like let me think about this and we'll get back to what I'm trying to ask you guys.
I don't know. I'm thinking two things can be true.
You get what I'm trying to like get to? What I'm trying
Sort
to
of.
ask
Like
you?
you're trying to say, like it's now you're saying that people now want to cry victim to try to get ahead and saying, "Oh, the media's getting ready to attack me."
Yeah, to get out
Because
of
it's
that
already
thing.
happened. Now,
Because
possibly that can be the case, but then it also speaks to the media that's done it so many times that we're almost desensitized to it that I'm automatically putting a few asterisks as soon as they start pointing the finger at someone. Because I'm like, are you really pointing the finger at them for like a legitimate reason? Or is it something where you might actually be trying to attack him? Because something that he became popular for, especially through COVID, was that he talked a lot against the establishment. So he pushed the narratives of, especially during the COVID years, all this stuff that was happening, all this stuff that's happening with the government now. Like he's pushing boundaries as far as like what the traditional news are usually speaking. He's usually like debating their points and giving you like a counter argument or like trying to fact check them, for a lack of a better term. So,
you think he's big enough, or both of y'all? Y'all think he's big enough to where it makes an actual effect for them to come after him? Because like for example, Joe was like the biggest pod in the world, or at least in America for sure. So it's like that makes sense for them to go against Joe when he's doing more numbers than Joe Rogan. Then he's doing more number than
he's doing more
news.
number than the news.
Yeah, exactly.
Russell Brand does more numbers than the news.
Okay.
Without
in the UK as well, or here in America?
Probably worldwide. Mixture of like everything.
Gotcha.
Yeah. I'm not sure if he'll have like enough sting like Joe Rogan does, but I think he does have enough to where people will like
it makes an effect.
Make an effect, or like maybe start questioning as well.
He got like what, like 6-7 million YouTube subscribers?
But then you want to keep in mind that now he has a deal with Rumble where he's live streaming daily 3 times a day.
Damn,
so like
yeah, all the other platforms.
And like exclusively there.
Because he was famous pre-COVID. So
So he's been famous for a long time,
yeah,
for multiple reasons.
But did his so my question to you is, did his speaking platform, like his podcast, his social, like him speaking, is that what blew up over COVID? Is that what you meant when he blew up over COVID?
He blew up during COVID.
Yeah,
like,
that's
because he kind of made a transition. So he started.
But he was popular before that already.
Because he's been like an actor. He was a comedian.
Katy Perry too.
I'm familiar with all that.
So, but now he went all the way into almost podcasting kind of news style.
So did the pod blow up, or did he like get to that next level of fame? Is my question.
I don't understand the question.
Because all right, so he was already famous and popping before. Sorry, he was already famous before, and you said he got popping like during COVID.
Yeah, but he didn't get popular because of the type of fame he had prior. He got popular because he was having contrarian narratives to what the norm was in media.
All right, so I'm not gonna lie, I'm believing him a little bit more. I'm gonna be honest. I don't know if that made sense, but
agenda to control these kind of spaces and these kind of voices, and I mean my voice along with your voice. I don't mind them using my books and my stand-up to talk about my promiscuous consensual conduct in the past. What I seriously refute are these very, very serious criminal allegations. Also, it's worth mentioning that there are witnesses whose evidence directly contradicts the narratives that these two mainstream media outlets are trying to construct, apparently in what seems to me to be a coordinated attack. Now, I don't want to get into this any further because of the serious nature of the allegations, but I feel like I'm being attacked, and plainly they are working very closely together. We are obviously going to look into this matter because it's very, very serious. In the meantime, I want you to stay close, stay awake, but more important than any of that, if you can, please stay free.
So that's kind of his kind of messaging. And this happened before the news even broke. So he kind of heard it. I think they reached out for like an interview or for a comment. And as soon as he saw that, he just went out and got ahead of it and he put this video out. And then afterwards, like the articles started coming out. And like here's like one of the deep dive kind of articles that came out in the UK.
Because I know one of the talking points about this whole story has been that like he was dating a 16-year-old, and in the UK like the legal dating age is 16. So that's been like a talking point on this story or whatever. Because some people are like, oh yeah, it's legal, but it doesn't necessarily make it right. morally.
Yeah, I mean, I was actually thinking just that when you said that, it's like, damn, that's crazy because even though it's legal, that's crazy. Like, I wouldn't even be able to do it, even if it's legal in the country. I'm not dating somebody so young like that.
Because even the older I get now, the higher my minimum age
It
is.
gets,
Yeah, because it's like if I'm 26 right now and I don't want to I'm not dating an 18-year-old. Like it's
That's
legal,
what
I
I'm
can do it
saying.
and there's no
That,
problem
yeah,
like with it. But
you won't catch me
it's not
dating
a
no
legal
18-year-old.
problem with it, but it's like for me, it's like a mental
Yeah,
problem with it. So if you like, well, I don't know how old he was at the time. I think he was like in his 30s or something like that when that happened. Um, early 20s. I don't know. That's still it's
but
crazy.
it's still weird to me.
Yeah,
Like,
for sure.
just,
I don't know.
just
So
I like older women.
So
and
that's a little bit different for me. The way I view it, and I'm not saying that it's okay, but I think it's one of those things of like, am I looking at it through the lens of the laws that I'm aware of, which is America, and I'm having a hard time viewing it through the perspective of the UK. Like, I wonder if to them it is more normal since that is their legal acceptance age or whatever, like the consent age. You know what I mean? So I wonder if for them they view that as a society as something kind of normal.
But
I don't know.
even when I see a 40-year-old man with a woman that I can tell is very much under 23, I'm like, this looks kind of fucking crazy. Like if when I'm like y'all are a couple and you look like you're her dad, like it looks crazy.
right, and you actually
Regardless of
can be her dad.
yeah, if you're 21 and he's 50, y'all be like you're 21, you're a grown ass woman at that, like you know what I mean. There's no ifs ands or buts about it, but you still look fucking crazy with
I
a
get it, but
50-year-old
that's
man.
not.
Both of y'all look crazy
But
together.
that doesn't make it illegal.
But yeah, that's what I'm saying. Like it's not a because
It's
it's
a looks
legal.
thing. It's a looks
It's
thing.
legal, but it's like illegal and moral or like kind of thing. You know what I mean?
No,
Because
no. Illegality and morality are two very different things.
that's what I'm exactly.
Like
Yes.
I do not put them in the same way. Like
Not at all.
there's some things that I think are immoral that are illegal.
Yes.
You know what I mean?
And this is one of them.
That could potentially be
For
one
me.
of them, technically.
For me
yes,
personally,
yes.
this is one of them.
Yeah, but like for something like this, where he's being accused of legit crimes, I have to try to view it through the legal perspective, even if I don't agree in my gut with it. You get what I mean?
Yeah, because now it's a
Because that's what
potential jail time.
that's what he's going to be held accountable to.
Yeah.
Now, the one thing I would say, if you heard him speaking, something that kind of raised a flag, and if you might have known of him prior to what he's currently known for, he was a wild boy. Like he was into drugs, drinking, and I mean, like he was an alcoholic.
He's outside. He said,
Like,
Which he didn't
lying
stray
about
away
that.
from it.
Yeah.
I get it. He didn't stray away from it. So the only thing that may raise a flag for me is that means that there might have been times where you were not all the way up there in your head, where you might have been around women, you might have been drunk, you might have been drugged, and you might have taken actions that you probably don't even recall taking. So that's the type of stuff that I think, that's why I say two things can be true. So there's a chance that to you probably don't think you did something wrong.
Right.
But you did mention a lot of the times I used to be out there. Like I was a wild boy. So I was drunk, I was on drugs, and I'm like, he was into hard drugs too.
That's what I'm saying. Like, there was a piece
hold
of
on,
me
hold
where
on,
I was
I'm
like, he
sorry.
might be a little guilty. Like,
Hold on, but just before I start to cut you off, before we keep going, let's get into the story a little bit because I do want to see actually what he is like being charged with or like actually accused of, so we can talk about it a little bit more.
Definitely get the details of an ant.
Yeah, that shit was far as fuck. How the fuck I'm gonna look at that shit? Oh, you want me to read this, John?
Yeah, you wanted to grab your glasses, so I guess you're gonna read it.
The comedian and actor Russell Brand has been accused of rape, sexual assaults, and emotional abuse during a 7-year period at the height of his fame, which he's at the height of his fame now. So yeah, it's bullshit. Four women have alleged sexual assaults between 2006 and 2013, while he was a presenter of BBC Radio 2 and Channel 4, and then an actor in Hollywood films. Others have made a range of accusations about Brand's controlling, abusive, and predatory behavior. Brand denied the allegations and said his relationships have all been consensual. Scroll up real quick. Let me just ask you guys a question. This another talking point that I've seen. Do you guys feel like, I don't know what way to phrase this. I'm gonna phrase it this way just for lack of terms. Do you guys feel like there should be like a statute limitation of a time that like if for Bill Cosby, right? Like a lot of the shit happened pre-2000 and he went to jail for it today in 2023. Does like you know what I'm saying? How do you guys feel about that? Like, if it happened to you at any point, as long as you're alive, you should be able to like report this, or should there be like a kind of like a cutoff or like a? I know it's a tough
I
question
think
to
for
ask
some
you.
crimes, no, there shouldn't be a statute of limitation for some crimes.
So as long as you're alive, for some crimes you should be able to report.
like
What
yeah,
about
like,
this crime though?
like there are some that are egregious enough. Like I'll probably put this in there. I think if you try to do stuff with children, I would put that up in that category. Probably taking someone's life, I'll put that in that category. So I feel like there's stuff that whenever you can be held accountable, you should be held accountable. Now, I don't disregard, and this is why I'm saying maybe two things can be true. And that is that maybe he might have done some stuff that was questionable, maybe criminal. I can't say for sure. But then the fact that it's coming up to light right now is also very suspicious to me. So I think the system, and then when I say the system now, I'm talking about like news and media. It was like, oh, this is now where we can go. 'Cause something that
I
happens
mean, they're all connected though.
in Hollywood is that all this stuff is from 13, 16 years ago, from 10 to 13 years ago.
Yeah.
So well over a decade. Why is it coming up now?
Right.
Why are the women speaking up now?
Because I think it's exactly what you're saying. Two things can be true. It's like, all right, bet we know all of this shit, but since we fuck with you, we gonna keep this in a tuck. Since you work for us and you doing all the right shit, we gonna keep this in a tuck.
Yep.
But as soon as you start trying to play us and come on some other shit,
And
we're
expose us.
gonna put you on front street.
Because what I think
We're gonna throw your business
what's
out
happening
there.
in this situation is, I think now like reporters started knocking on these women's doors to see if they had a story and kind of poking them and incentivizing them to speak in some way, or like encouraging them to speak. I think that can also be the case, and I wouldn't
Right.
put that past.
But they would have wherever there was there's smoke, there's fire, or fire, however the saying goes. Because then, how did they know where to start? How did they know that this was even a thing? Period.
Well, that's what I mean. Because one of the places that's breaking out, like Channel 4, is one of the places where he worked.
Channel 4, that's in the UK.
Yes, and they were one of the ones that have a whole news case, like a whole news story, and they have interviewing like one of the girls, like covering her page and stuff like that. So he used to work with them 10 years ago. Why didn't you bring that shit up there? Why didn't you cut ties with
Right.
him then, even if there was whispers of them? But now, because he's talking against you in some ways, or pushing against your narrative, now you want to like be like, oh, I'm on the right side of morality, when you should
Right.
have been there 10 years ago.
When it was happening.
Correct.
Let's see. The findings come from a joint investigation by the Sun Times, the Times, and Channel 4 Dispatch. Damn, that's crazy. They linked up. They when a few different linked. That's that shit right there. That's like.
But see, stuff like this, when they be like, "Oh, you want to talk against us? Okay, hold on." They're gonna
Bro,
They're gonna
it's
take the
the
best
left,
route.
bro.
They're gonna take the best route, which I feel like is kind of common now, and find ways to push sexual assault allegations towards you, because that's something very serious.
Yeah, that's the quickest way
You
to
feel
get you
me?
out of here.
I look at Andrew Tate. They're also using that tactic against him,
Which he be in that shit.
which
But
I mean,
it tarnishes your legacy nasty. It's
no,
hard,
but believe it or not, his legacy is not even being tarnished. Like, he's still fighting it, because even the girl. But here's the difference though. He has girls that are pretty much going against what the media are saying. Like, no, Andrew's innocent, and whatever the case, they're on his side,
Mhm.
right? They're against the media. But here in this situation, these girls are coming out of nowhere, and they're not against. They're against Russell Brand. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
These girls are not against Andrew Tate, because they're saying like, yo, he never did any of those things that people are making him out to be, or saying that he did. So I definitely think this is I'm definitely getting a strong feeling that this is indeed an attack, but I'm not disregarding the possible truth behind these allegations,
That it could actually happen.
to be honest. Because I was also like I said, when he started comparing the two, like with himself and Joe Rogan, I'm like, that it's very different. So that kind of made me feel a little funny about that. But aside from that, though, I definitely feel like this is possibly an attack.
It's just
More so an attack rather than.
it's just tough because once this is on your jacket, it's really hard to clean off. It's like a stain. It's a
Definitely.
stain.
Like,
that
you're in a fight now. Like, once this is on you, now whether you like it or not, you're in a fight now. You
So I'll
have to
say
fight
one
against
thing.
that.
I think there's one of these girls that I think there's some merit to it. Because the one thing I would say, that every time somebody comes out and accuses someone of something like this, I will always kind of ask, why didn't you come out back then? Like, that's probably question number one. And then that comes out of probably most people. Or number two, what actions do you take when it happened? And
Yeah.
that one girl, actually, there were like messages from him apologizing for something. And then she went to like a crisis center the day after.
Yeah.
So like she went right afterwards. So that means that at some point, like, this wasn't something that she waited years. She was like, the next day,
She handled it right
I
then and
thought
there.
somebody like assaulted me in a way that I didn't want to. So she went and took some type of action, and she spoke to someone, and someone, like, there may be a record. So in theory, if this is true, there should be a record of her stay there. And if they do an art kit on you whenever you go to like the hospital and stuff, there should be DNA evidence.
Yeah, she was treated a second.
I'm just gonna scroll down a little bit, just because this is super long.
She was 31. She was 16. Yeah, I wish I would have had a little bit more time to like read this entire.
Wait here, I'll show this.
I'm lying. I wouldn't have read all this. I ain't even gonna say here like I would have read all this shit. This is way too much. Cause what time? This is from the Times in the UK. So this is from the same place that's going against him. Got rid of my. Yeah.
So here's the messages. So this is some of the stuff, and she's
Brand Texas, sorry to Nadia. Damn, how the fuck, yo, 2012 text is crazy. You know how many phones I've had since 2012? Like I'm sorry to be like insensitive, like, cause this has nothing to do with this. But yo, if anybody got my text from 2012, yo, delete that shit.
If you have an iPhone, it should just be on your backups. Like, I've had iPhone since 2007, so like all since like my first iPhone. Probably not my first one, but probably since like my third one.
Since they made the cloud and all that shit. That's crazy, but I'm sorry.
No, but like right now, like these are the messages that she kind of put as evidence. And she's like, hey, I'm sorry that was crazy and selfish. I hope you can forgive me. I know that you're a lovely person. Signed X. And this was her response. You scare the shit out of me. You're right. I'm a lovely person. And for you to take advantage of me like that is unacceptable. Unexpectable. I think it's unacceptable. Maybe. You have a problem, you need help, it's dangerous, and you think you can get your own way all the time. Do you know how scary you are when that glazed look comes over you? When a girl says no, it means no. Do I have to go and get myself tested? Last time you asked me for a condom or no condom. When I say condom, that doesn't mean optional. You don't have the best reputation. I pride myself on being safe, trying to make the right decisions, blah, blah, blah. And then once again, it's him. I'm very sorry. You don't need to get tested. I will make this up to you somehow. With love and kindness, maybe. Not my original idea, which was more sex, but you've been lovely to me and I'm embarrassed of my behavior. Sorry. And then a few months later, this is in July, and then in August, he's like, will you ever forgive me?
My thing is, though, like, if you know he doesn't have the best reputation, but you want to talk about being safe and so on, like,
well, I think reading into the messages, and now I'm completely, let's say these are real messages, because that's another thing.
Right.
I don't know if they're real. Yeah. I'm going to assume that maybe they are. If they are, there's two layers. One, she did say no at some point during the interaction, but it seems like they had some level of relationship where this wasn't the first time they were together. You know what I mean?
Oh yeah, because she asked kind of
like she's correct.
You asked last time,
like,
you asked.
Yes, whatever. Like it still doesn't mean like if she said no, it's a no, but it also kind of tells me there may be a reason why maybe she didn't come out sooner, or maybe she just tried to put it under the rug. It might have taken it as a bad experience then.
Oh, you're saying it because they had her past, she tried to hold him down?
Possibly, or she didn't take it as 100%. I'm like, oh, like she might have even been conflicted. Like, was this abuse or not?
But as soon as somebody came and talked to her about it,
correct? Because
that's what she's like,
yeah, because it probably was. From based off the text, it seems like it definitely was a form of abuse. But she, like you said, she might have just confused the feelings and shit because they were
correct. Like it could have
like,
been.
Will you ever forgive me?
Now she was the one though that did go to like the crisis center the day after and so on. So I think there's some merit, and for that I do think this should be investigated. And if there's proof then he should be held accountable for it. Like if it goes to a court of law and there's proof, then I think it's all fair game in that aspect.
But how do you like? I don't know what their laws are and all that shit. But like,
How do you even prove
just
that?
solely based off of that.
Well, some of this
Sex-
was in LA, so
Okay, so but even shit that even here in like in America, I don't know. I'm not like I don't even know how you charge. Like, what do you charge them for? Like, would it like?
well, so there's a few things. So now there's the burden of proof, like if it's in America. So now you have to prove that you were actually R-worded.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And so that's the thing she now has to prove in order for him to be indicted. So that's what I mean. Like her story possibly has some merit because she has a few pieces of evidence that she came up with from the beginning. Usually, even like I know you mentioned Andrew Tate earlier, when his stuff happened, they didn't put evidence up right away.
Yeah.
It was like stories and this and that, and then the evidence that came up was the contrary.
Because that text isn't convinced.
But at least from the
convictable.
beginning, she has the text. It's one thing, but she also did, in theory, say, "Hey, I went to a crisis center the day after." So that
But
means
they have slept together though. So
Correct.
So his
I know, but there may be enough circumstantial evidence for it to go to court.
Yeah.
Because
No,
if
no.
not-
For it to go to. I'm sorry. So let me clarify myself a little bit. So for them to go to court, yeah. But those two things I don't think are enough to like convict him of something.
We don't know. That's what I mean. Like eventually, then you have to do a full investigation,
But
seeing if
even-
more comes to light.
Even if they have a sexual past, it's still that doesn't mean that he's not capable of, sexually assaulting.
No,
and stuff like
100.
that.
He 150% definitely is. My only reason was for saying that was that if she went and got like swabbed or whatever, like tested, his DNA would still would already show up even if she wasn't assaulted in that form because they had already slept together. You get what I'm saying?
Even though years later it happened.
No, because I'm saying in the
Crisis.
when she went the next day to get tested for like the R word tested or whatever. At that time, they were already sleeping together. They were seeing each other in 2012, 2013, I think it said it was.
Mhm.
So his DNA would already have been in her.
Sure, yeah,
You
yeah.
know what I'm saying? When she goes the next day to get the test. So that could be like a defense, but I guess I don't know. I'm just trying to like figure it out. Like what would they actually charge him with?
I don't know, but I do think that's what I think. In my mind, I'm conflicted, but I do think there's two things that can be true. This could have possibly actually happened. There's a possibility of that, but then I also do think the media and the mainstream, for lack of a better term, is taking advantage of this to try to get him out.
Oh, of course.
Yeah, that's what I was gonna. As I'm thinking about this, I'm like, I don't even think it's like they're not trying to convict him. They're just trying to get him the fuck out of here. And try like they're just trying to cancel. They was trying to get him out of here. I don't know. Fuck it, man. When there's money involved, you do whatever you want, right?
I think it
No,
just
I think
depends on
the thing you want to
the
keep in mind that
situation.
now Russell Brand is independent too.
He doesn't have a backer like a Spotify or a.
Well,
a
that's what I
Rumble or
know.
Whatever.
Well, he kind of has Rumble, but what I mean
Yeah.
is that he's not in a news channel. He's not in social like in a major network. So it's not like they can fire him.
He's doing his own
So
thing.
he can just keep doing his own thing, even while he's going through this. You know what I mean? Like
As
he
long as
doesn't
he has
need
a
to.
platform, yeah.
He doesn't have to stop making. Well, there will always be some kind of platform because there's nothing stopping you from building your own of some sort. It may not be the same. Like YouTube already demonetized it, but now he's doing shit with Rumble. This may incentivize Rumble in some way. Like if he gets cleared from this, to try to get him to go there 100%, similar to what Spotify did with Rogan. You know what I mean? I'm like, cool. Like all those views that were going to YouTube, if I can pull them to my platform, this is what I'm saying. Like these types of moves have started to backfire. Every bit more and more every time it happens.
Every now and then.
No, not every now and then. Every single time it's happened. Like unless this is true and he gets convicted, I think he's gonna get bigger.
Yeah, I think so too.
Yeah, I thirded that motion, but yeah, we appreciate y'all for tuning in. Let us know in the comments. Just this whole story, whatever thoughts you have, ideas, anything that you have on this topic. Period. I'm just
No, but let us know. Let us know if you think he's guilty or not, or if this is just another attack. Like, because these things are becoming more common now, and we are finding out that a lot of the times there's a lot of false accusations. So let us know.
please hit the like, comment, and subscribe. This is Never Famous.